Oh, yes.
I know Rebecca said that there's no one model for blended learning. However, is there one working operational definition that all four of you would agree on of what blended learning is?
Let's find out.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to make an attempt, and if we agree, like we'll do a nod or thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Blended learning means that you are bringing together technological resources in a traditional classroom to augment and improve the instruction that's happening in a classroom.
We have a rabbi.
The only thing I would, I think the way a lot of people are using it, at least I usually use it, some schools are online classes, so there are classes where people will go online and take a class online. That's an online class. Blended often is used to, the data is kind of driving the instruction. So I think that's the key component, the way we're using it. When we say we're a blended learning school, I try to avoid that phrase, by the way, blended learning, because I'm not sure what it means. But when people ask me for blended, I think if you mean that, we use data to drive instruction, or at least to guide instruction. So that's the blend, as we're using the technology in the actually direct instruction of the teacher.
Could you talk a little bit about, I guess we call it parent advocacy or parent hand-holding? How do you convince parents that this whole thing makes sense, given the fact that they were all educated in a totally different way?
Right, so Steve from Appetite asked, how do we handle parents, right? How do we explain what the model is to parents? How do we handhold them, etc.? So, together.
I'm wondering about that. When I bring a prospective family on tour, I wonder, do they want to see the extent to which this educational model is innovative and different and something that we're still figuring out? And something that the schools that are working on this are still figuring out? Or do they want a more affordable, normal school? Do they want a cheap Ramaz? Or do they want a school that's not well known for blended learning at an affordable rate? Or do they want something? So I think when we can, like other schools, when we can bring the parents in and have conversations, meaningful ones about curriculum and instruction, make them a part of the learning process and truly partner with them, then they get it. They understand that our teachers are thinking this through, and they're reflecting deeply on their practice, and they're taking advantage of everything they can get their hands on. And many of them come to conferences like Sunday here at iJED, and I think parents are comforted that teachers, like physicians, are reading the literature on professional development and still on their path towards growth.
I would add to that, and I'm still shocked at what I'm about to tell you. It's amazing to me how little the affordability was an attraction for our school. I would have thought it was such a major contributor to parents coming to it. It's the reason people will give us the time of day, and they'll come to the open house. But ultimately, in our community, certainly, people want to know that they're not compromising on the quality of education at all. And so the affordability is allows them into the door, but then they want to hear about the education. So what I've done last year and this year is have an open door policy. If any parent wants to come by to see the school, to see how it works, to understand it better, they can. And so that's been a really great vehicle for me to kind of show off what we're doing to the parents of our car, and then the word kind of spread. And so that's, I say, the open house, the tours that we give, and now the word of mouth that if you're doing a good job, people will talk about it.
I think it's also important to note that blended learning is one aspect of all of our schools. And so when parents come in, I think what I've heard each panel member say is that there is so much focus on the individual student in each of these schools. And parents see that, appreciate that, and at times have felt a lack of that in other settings. And so I think that's something that's invaluable that we all can offer. And I know that when they come into our school, because students are gaining proficiency, in so many ways, that they see that. It's digital proficiency, it's proficiency in terms of their social and emotional development, their academic growth, their spiritual growth, and that's something that I think that when you speak about blended learning schools, there's so many things, and I think it's important to note that, and parents do see that.
Okay, so actually our time is up for today. Right, that's what I was just going to say. I want to encourage people in the audience to ask further questions of any of the panelists, or of me, of other Avichai staff that's here, of the online blended learning vendors that are around the room, also of all the people who are here from the Bold Day schools, which are established schools that are beginning to implement more blended learning. We're here for the rest of the conference, so please feel free to learn more. We have a lot of information on the Avichai table. Thank you.